Hello legends, in this episode we are taking a look at the price of Bitcoin, explaining why still the highest probability is taking out all-time high instead of getting a successful breakdown below $115,000. Of course, we'll be taking a look at the local levels of resistance and support, the most important ones, to take a possible scalping trading setup, also considering the CVD divergence and the liquidity, guys. We'll be taking a look at some interesting news later on throughout this video update, so make sure to stay tuned. Please remember that Weeks and Bluffin are two exchanges that I do use. You get an awesome bonus, guys, 20% cash back on your deposit on both of the exchanges. On Weeks, you get 25% fee reduction. You have the second link for Bluffin or the fourth link for Weeks, guys. They're a great alternative to other exchanges that ask for more personal information. You only need an email and a password to sign up to these exchanges, guys. Use the links down below to get the best bonuses available. Now let's analyze the situation for the price of Bitcoin. So we did get that bounce from Friday. This was kind of very much expected. If you did watch some previous video updates, guys, that we could be actually bouncing. This could actually be the low and going to higher levels. But right now, we're getting a bounce. We're ranging still. So what's going on? We do have some news later on today. JOLTS jobs opening. Tomorrow we have Fed interest rate decision. And also Thursday, we do have personal income. So it's a packed week with some different news happening, guys. So you want to be a little bit cautious with your trading. Be defensive because we don't know what kind of volatility could happen throughout the news events. But most importantly, the charts tell me everything, right? And the highest probability is still looking at this scenario. Now, the main question is your wave 4 in here. We are looking here from the lows from June that we are moving up impulsively, okay? With double 1-2, you got your third wave here, the biggest move with the highest amount of volume. We do recognize that your wave 4s can be the longest in time and the most complex, forming a sideways WXY or a double zigzag WXY, and they can be very, very complex. So for the moment, we can tick here this as a possible wave 4. It's been very long in time, tick. It's been very complex, a lot of overlap and a lot of choppiness and a big range. Another tick right over there. So it does look very good for the price to take out the highs, potentially in the next coming days. However, what we need to take into consideration as well is the possible bearish case scenarios, right? Now, let's talk about the highest probability scenarios for the moment, which is either looking at this as an ABC, a three-wave structure that has finished. This has taken quite a bit of time. We're already crossing the 1.618 extension in time from that wave 3, right? When we go with the general idea here that this is your wave 3, very long, very explosive, high volume, we are already crossing the 1.618, almost getting to the 2-to-1, okay, if we consider this three-wave structure being finished. For the moment, that is very possible. We've moved up in a 5-wave structure since the lows of Friday. So let's go in detail with that scenario, okay? And we'll be analyzing the different possible movements. So we're analyzing either a finished WXY or a finished ABC. You got a B wave here, a flat inside of the B wave. Very possible. It doesn't really matter, guys. You can see the 3-wave structure right over here, okay? So going with this scenario, right? WXY, 3-wave structure to the downside. We moved up impulsively. We do have a very nice, legit 5-wave count since the flows of Friday. So for the moment, we're leaning on this. Now, we've moved down very straight here since yesterday. And is there a possibility here in either forming a lower high, claiming the lows? I'm not really that interested in taking a short right here, speculating on a lower high to claim the lows. I'm more interested in longs. There is a very interesting short that I want to point out in this video update. So I'm just waiting patiently. I realized that we moved in a 5-wave structure. We got the leg down yesterday. We're getting a little bounce throughout today. If we form a lower high and we move to the downside, I'll be waiting patiently for a sign of strength. See proof of support at the value area low of this trading zone. We also have a weekly level that hasn't been touched yet, okay? The daily level did get supported yesterday and we got this bounce of over $1,000. Very nice indeed. If we were to come down to this zone of $117,000 range, maybe even slightly below, I will be analyzing to see if we form a three-wave corrective structure. There is a lot of support here. We have the weekly level, we have the value area low, a possible three-wave structure after forming a five-wave impulsive move to the upside to potentially label this as a wave 2. Now, should I long directly, put some limit longs in this zone? Well, no, I'll be waiting for more information. Something good as well is that we do have some very strong bullish CVD divergence. We have massive shorts entering the market throughout multiple exchanges, as you can see in the yellow on Bybit, in the white here on the rest of exchanges, also Bybit US dollar tether pair from the lows that were formed just about 2 weeks ago, right? Higher lows on price action, lower low on CVD. There's lots of shorts entering here throughout the last couple of weeks, which is making it very bullish indeed, not only with the technical analysis, but there's actually lots of liquidity that are piling up here above $120,000, as we can see right over here in the liquidity map, right? 121K, lots of liquidity, which will bring us to the possible short scalp trading setup if we do get a rejection later on in this video. So according to the bullish case scenario, if we form a lower high here, then eventually if we do get down, attempt a breakdown, if we do reclaim the levels, okay, and we overlap from that low of yesterday, I will be counting this as a possible three-wave structure. And if this had to be bearish and we get a successful breakdown, we want follow through. You want to see the price breaking down, okay? If it breaks down, I will be sitting on my hands till we get to the next level, which is the lows, where I want to see proof of support and reclaiming back those lows that were formed on Friday. That is the moment that I will be bullish, okay? Now, of course, I do expect some support here. We do have some very good technical reasons that this could be an impulse, that the low could be in a three-wave structure. So if we come down in the next coming hours, I want to see the breakdown failing to go lower than $116,000 and reclaim back the value area low, the weekly level, overlap the pivot low from yesterday, meaning that this will no longer be a wave 3. The most bearish case scenario would be a double 1-2, but I don't think that is going to happen. Everything points out that this is corrective, so we do not want to be too bearish. This would be a confirmation that this could be a C wave inside of an ABC, and reclaiming all of these levels and overlapping this pivot low means that an impulse is unlikely to be forming here, and that we could be waiting and expecting for that big breakout wave 3, just purely based that we have this three-wave structure, nice five-wave impulse since Friday's lows, corrective structure to label it as your wave 2, and your wave 3s are usually the most powerful ones that could be happening here throughout the next coming days. I want to be in that wave 3. I'm still maintaining long positions throughout the last few weeks, and even last week, guys, new positions open in the Signals channel in Telegram. If you are interested in joining the Signals channel, guys, make sure to join the Telegram. It is the first link down below in the description. Today, we got a nice, beautiful scalp short position that was shown here in the Telegram Signals channel, guys. Just join the first link down below in the description if you are interested in that. So that's what I would be waiting for here, guys, right? If we do get that leg down for a new long position, not too interested in shorts. At the moment, there's only one short that I'm interested that I'll show you right away in the next coming minutes. Claiming the lows, reclaiming here this high, the weekly and the value area low, I would be seeing this as a descending channel, okay, bull flag-ish if you wish, and then look for that possible breakout in your wave 3. So that's one scenario. Reclaiming and overlapping the pivot low of yesterday is incredibly important to start getting very bullish that this could be the end of this local correction from the last few days, and we're ready for that massive push to the upside. Now, what other scenarios could happen, right? I've told you about the breakdown, okay? If we do get that breakdown, then eventually I'll just remain patient to reclaim the lows, fill that CME gap finally, right? And then as soon as we reclaim those lows, we fill the gap, we get some local bullish market structure. That is the moment that I will be very, very bullish, guys, okay? And get into new long positions or add to my recent long positions as well. The low could be in, right? The low could be in as well, right? If we do get a massive breakout here above 120K and we just continue to rip, I'm not interested in shorts. I would say, okay, this was the 3-wave structure finish, 5-wave move up. Okay, we've got a bit of a double zigzag here that can be counted as the correction. If we suddenly pump and break out from the highs of yesterday and 120.3K, the highs from last Tuesday, I would just say, well, all-time high we go, right? I'm in long position, so I'd be happy for that to happen. However, there is a bearish case scenario where the range just continues, right? I would say that this has been quite long in time for the price to really just get that breakout already and hit all-time high, claim the liquidity. However, we do have some important levels above 121K, and maybe the range could continue. As we do have a 3-wave structure to the downside, is it possible that we just form a 3-wave move to the upside, claim that liquidity above 120K, and get the rejection, as we do have a daily level also at round about 120K zone? Is it possible that this movement to the upside after claiming that liquidity gets a rejection and actually continues to the downside or continues the range here? Absolutely yes. And that would just bring us to a longer sideways corrective structure that finally would bottom out at some stage in the next coming days, and we would be looking for all-time high regardless. The reason here for this is that we have a 3-wave structure. You could form a 3-wave move to the upside, and if we do get that rejection, we could either form a triangle in this zone, we could form a flat in this area as well, or we could even form a steep zigzag, fill the gap, and then eventually look for new all-time highs. Wave 4s are very long, they're very choppy, they're very confusing. So I am considering this scenario to potentially continue the range regardless if we break out all-time high, if we continue ranging all-time high. And the thing is here, we've got a 3-wave move down. We could be forming a 3-wave move up. We do have the highs from last Tuesday at 120.3K. We do have a daily level there. 3-wave structure to the upside. Only if we reject, I would be happy to get into a short position here. To hedge, I would be very defensive. As soon as we move down $1,000, I will be protecting my position. I am very much bullish and do see all-time high happening at some point, guys. So this would be the only short hedge that I would be interested in. Get the rejection from that daily level and also from the highs of last week at 120K. Kind of a swing failure pattern, right? If we want to keep it simple. And the range could continue in a triangle, or we could form a flat, or we could form a zigzag to the downside and just forming a larger WXY that's going to be boring for another few more days, guys, okay? So levels of interest, moving down, claiming the value area low with that weekly level as explained. If we do get that overlap from yesterday's pivot low, this right over here will be looking very bullish, confirmed 3-wave structure, overlapping your wave 1. I would be interested in long positions. If we move up from here and we do reject from the highs of last week and that daily level, potential short scalp will be very defensive with shorts taking profit, and also just very defensive, realizing that the highest probability is taking all-time high, okay, in the next coming days, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe, throughout the end of the week. So overall, higher time frame bullish. There are some rejection levels. The only level that I'm interested in is really 120.3K. Only if we get the rejection. If we break up and continue to higher levels, then potentially we could be heading to new all-time high. Let's take a look at some interesting news that is happening. PayPal enables crypto payments for US merchants. Bullish for XRP and for rest of the cryptocurrencies, of course. That is a massive sign of adoption. We do have financial giant Interactive Brokers, guys. This is where institutions do actually trade. Considers allowing crypto stablecoin funding for brokerage accounts, which is massive sign of adoption. I used to use Interactive Broker back in 2017. I know that institutions do actually use this broker, so that's massive sign of adoption. And then on the bearish side, which is not really too bearish, Galaxy Digital selling huge amount of Bitcoin. I'm not sure why they are selling huge amount of Bitcoin throughout the last week, guys, because there is nothing to be bearish about when we do take a look at Bitcoin. This is a corrective structure. It's been very bullish, very strong bullish market trend. I'm not sure why they've sold so many Bitcoin, but it is what it is. Maybe they do have some issues, of course, with the company, or it's basically the clients that want to sell, right, and just buy something else. I have no idea why this is happening. If you do know, let me know in the comment section why there's massive selling pressure from 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗁 Digital. Not much more has to be said, guys. The levels have been mentioned, the scenarios have been mentioned. If you want more daily updates, not only on Bitcoin but also on altcoins and trading setups, you do have down below the Telegram, guys. Make sure to join if you want to take your trading to the next level. Thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you in the next one.